The year is 2022. Humanity is at its peak of development, where everything is moving faster than ever. Many of us can get anything delivered to our doors as soon as the next day, and it comes as no surprise that a fast fashion model has been adopted by all the major clothing brands we know. But has the earth been able to keep up with our pace? The environmental costs of fast fashion. Choosing what to wear has never been easier. New clothes are made available to us every week, and we don't even need to leave our houses anymore. Fast fashion has made our lives more convenient. Order today, arrives tomorrow, return it for free, and it is so cheap that you can just throw it out after a few wears, and then buy more again. This is the consumerism cycle of disposable clothes. But have we stopped to think, who is making these clothes and where do the materials to make them come from? What happens after we throw them out? The cheapest labor comes from developing countries such as China, Bangladesh, and India. This leads to people working long hours and earning extremely low wages while working under precarious work conditions. Fast fashion mainly manufactures synthetic fibers such as polyester and nylon through carbon-intensive processes. But natural fibers, such as cotton, aren't kind to the environment either, with their cultivation amounting to the main water expenditure of the fashion industry. Simply putting it, making new clothes, synthetically or naturally, will always cost the environment. A small percentage of clothes we throw out is recycled. However, the majority ends up being incinerated or left to decompose in landfills, which can take up to hundreds of years. Either destination will end up releasing toxic chemicals. So how can we pay back the environment for all the fashion industry has cost it? To get some answers, we interviewed George Harding Rolls from the Changing Markets Foundation, responsible for recent campaigns calling for immediate legislative action to slow down the fashion industry and break its dependency from fossil fuels. Thank you so much again for joining me.
But we're a Dutch non-profit. We work to expose irresponsible corporate behaviour around key sustainability challenges. Our campaigns, which work on the theory of change that there are already a lot of the solutions that we need to tackle sustainability challenges already there, but it's about kind of shifting the market in favour of them. And we can do that by exposing who's doing it well and who's continuing to sort of perpetuate environmental degradation. So we were spending a lot of time focusing on packaging and kind of working to expose the consumer brands that were most responsible for polluting the environment with plastic packaging. And then actually realized that another significant area of influence that we could have was around was like fashion brands using synthetic fibers, plastic fibers, essentially. I wouldn't expect a brand to be doing it by themselves. Like, what we want from brands is for them to be saying the right things and to be following through those words with actions in terms of reducing their reliance. But in terms of changing the entire business model, it needs the support of legislation, it needs the support of regulation so that you level the playing field. Because currently you can have a really sort of exceptional brand up against it in terms of the brands that could constantly undercut them on price, unless you have like a regulatory floor which levels the playing field for all brands operating. So I think in that context, what brands can do is work as like advocates for really strong legislation.
There is still a lot for our governments to do in terms of legislation, but nothing is stopping us from making conscious decisions today and getting more wear out of our clothes, buying secondhand, and donating instead of throwing them out.